Thank you very much for that, Carrix. We're jumping in for game one. Burst the Sky taking on GAM. As Carrix so eloquently put it, a new pairing, Yulway, our first time working together. I'm really excited for it, and I'm also really excited to see a new champion being played for a certain member on the Rift, Kiaya, having effectively 5 bans against him. He had to go deep, and he has pulled out the cannon.
So let me first address the new pairing. I'm super excited as well. We haven't actually cast together, even though you have been on VCS English for the whole of Winter Split. But of course, you're always covering the weekdays, but I was always on the weekends. So this is gonna be a cool day for the first time. But then Kiaya Cannon, not my favorite. I have to say I'm a huge Kiaya fanboy, but Kiaya Cannon has not really been it. It's much more of a Hasmid kind of champion. He can team fight well. Kiaya is a good team fighter. He's not the greatest when it comes to like really asserting himself in the side lane. I mean, that's not really what Cannon has to do, but still, somehow Kiaya Cannon has never really been the greatest look for him. He's a much better bruiser player on the Renekton's, the Nas, and the like. But yeah, let's see what he can do. He's been going... Yeah, he went for the super aggressive build as well. It's Electrocute Cannon instead of something like Airy or even First Strike. So we're going to see some big bursts, especially when it comes to level 6, and potentially trying to kill Ryuk on the Mininar.
And I think that's a key point that I really want to highlight. The fact that Kiaya wants to dominate Ryuk in lane. And if I throw back to what the analyst desk said earlier, in specific Clockwork, he talked about how GAM is like the Roman Empire. How Levi is the emperor and he waits for his lanes to be winning. He waits for them to dominate before he shows up. And that's exactly what Kiaya is doing here. Dominating Ryuk in the top lane.
Yeah, and Ryuk really missed playing his level 1, didn't count the minions correctly, and just ran into level 2 cannon with Electrocute. That hurt! Well, he does have some pots, and he does have the Doran Shield, so he should be able to stay in lane a little bit longer. Blowing the teleport this early on the match would be quite devastating for his laning chances. As we see Glory actually getting a really good trait on Kati. Can he blow the flash? Not quite.
Doesn't have the charm back available, otherwise I think a flash charm would have been absolutely imminent. And when you do look at these two teams, yes, GAM have been absolutely fantastic. They've dropped 1 game all split. They have 10 wins and a 1 game loss, a 5 straight series wins. But when you look over at Burst of Sky, you have to look at Glory. This mid laner is so darn good.
Speaking of Burst of the Sky, Druktha on one of his favorite champions, but not quite able to land the W. Very hard to do, of course, against Rakan, and Stalf staying safe. We see this from GAM all the time. The bot lane has early priority. Usually they would group up with Levi to get an early dive in. Instead, this time actually playing more defensively, Levi going for just the farm route. A little bit different from what they've shown us in the past few weeks. I'm really confused by Levi still being level 3 at 24 CS. That is strange. I guess some of his CS were shared in mid lane or something, so because 24 is usually the level 4 breakpoint, but bot lane's still under pressure. Druktha really wants his first kill here, but he's in no man's land, and there's nothing for him to pick up, so he's just wasting time.
In fairness to Druktha, he doesn't have any of his camps up on the top side, but I've just seen a cheeky ping actually from Levi. He pinged to the Gromp of Druktha. So I think Levi's going to be trying to steal this one away and steal away some of Druktha's camps.
Yeah, and getting double Scuttle as well if he wants to. No, he just walks into the enemy jungle. Scuttle is still there, as we said. Very nice timing from Levi, anticipating the respawn of the Grump. That's a respawn Grump, so level 3, level 4. More experience denied from Druktha, who's kind of squandered a little bit of his early game. He could have just farmed towards level 6, where he gets much stronger on one of his favorite champions, but not that much ventured or gained on his side either. He's still level 4. He actually was level 4 for such a long time already. I'm really confused what happened to the experience breakpoints in this game. So Levi is now in 32 CS, but only barely level 4. So something weird has been going on in the experience department.
Chance to watch the VOD back later. Kati flashing in Levi here, a 2v2 in the mid lane.
Oh!
B making his way. He has already fallen, and his first blood going over to GAM.
What a beautiful counter game from Elio, but it's countered by B, who is always there to strike first, or in this this case actually strikes second, but that was the more crucial strike, and GAM gets the first kill in the mid lane on the Ahri before she hits level 6. Perfect timing as well, level 5. Glory didn't even get to flash. He probably anticipated more help from Elio. Elio used his flash, so that's winning on all sides, and actually a style we haven't seen from GAM, playing through mid lane in the early game, something that hasn't been possible, partly because Kati has been struggling in mid lane, and the side lanes are always pushed up so far, so everyone gravitates towards side lanes. A new look for GAM, always nice to see.
Really want to praise GAM for that play, for that decision making to focus against Glory, the shining light for Burst of Sky. And in terms of all of the mid laners, has the highest CSD, has the highest goal difference at 15 minutes. They are forcing Glory behind. But Kati now doesn't have a flash, and maybe that's an opportunity for Burst of Sky to look to throw some resources back towards Glory and punish this rise.
Yeah, especially if you look at the tools available to Sky in the mid lane, with Druktha, Flash and Stun available, and of course Glory ultimate charges and E, plus Flash, you can even Flash E. So yeah, Kati needs to play back, needs to be very careful. He does have the extra movement speed of Face Rush, so if he's able to stack some of his runes together, he should be able to walk away. But some vision is already being invested by GAM's side as well. You can see this pink ward here trying to spot out some of the river movement. And with the dragon gone, there isn't really a big reason for Druktha to even go into this river. But the double roam is coming first, and we have a fight.
We'll bring Kati into the fight before Glory shows up. It's still a 3v3, but Glory now into the bottom lane. He's got a flash available, he's got a charm, but he's not quite close enough. B survives narrowly, and GAM, I guess, end up burning a few more resources than Sky do.
And even though these plays don't really look like they're coming up Sky, it shows very good research from Sky's side, especially in terms of where to be to counter gank some of the early activities for GAM. Oh, Levi's level 6 and Ryuk is only Minina.
He smites a blue buff, he goes straight onto Ryuk. Levi, that was absolutely beautiful. And it's these little plays that we're seeing from Levi, which is why he is the best jungler in the VCS. The play where he stole away the grunt from Druktha. This time he sees the play on the bottom side. He says, I don't need to be there. I can steal more away from Druktha. He does that, and he takes a kill as well.
And this is devastating for Ryuk. Look at him, he just hit level 6. He's not even close to his tower. He lost the plating now. The bot lane actually covering for him here because he would have lost so much more is really nice. So Sky still showing us good understanding of basic macro and map rotations, because they had to cover here to not completely give up the top lane. Now they are in a good position to fight for Rift Herald, and Kiaya needs to be careful. He does have flash and ultimate available though. And look at GAM, the cavalry is arriving. That's a good flank position from Kiaya. Sky can just lose the game here.
In fairness to Burst of Sky, while they have given away 2 kills to GAM, they have been able to get the first Drake of the game, and now they are picking up the first Herald. That's a few tower plates that can go their way, and it can diminish this goal deficit that they find themselves in.
Yeah, and GAM actually not pulling the trigger. Maybe a GAM of 1 year ago, or half a year ago, would have gone for the fight there, but they have been a little bit more disciplined. Their combined kills per minute still insanely high compared to other regions, of course, but they're not the highest combined kills per minute in the league anymore, and haven't been for quite a while, so a little bit more restraint shown for GAM. They know they're already in a really good position to win this game. They don't have to flip it at this Herald fight, and with the plating going over for Kati in the bot lane, it's basically almost half of the gold from the Herald. Oh, it's even 2 platings, so basically the full Herald already paid out for GAM's side, and now it's on Sky to make the Herald actually count.
Now, I want to talk about how Burst of Sky have been playing, because they've tried to put a lot of resources towards this bottom lane. We've seen Druktha looking for ganks at repeated times. Do we think that has been the right decision to make, and is this Rift Herald therefore going to go to the bottom lane, and Burst of Sky going to continue to try to play around Aomine and Elio?
So, I mentioned this earlier, I think this is basically just studying GAM and their tendencies. GAM played through their bot lane a lot of times. I actually made the video, if you think back about my in hindsight video last week, was about bot lane wave stacking into dice in the early game. And this look for GAM is a little bit different, because usually Kiaya... Okay, Kiaya...
Oh, he's just going to go in with a slicing maelstrom, picks up the kill, takes 2 tower shots, but it's not enough for the little lightning rat to die.
What is Ryuk doing though? You can't just step up with 300 HP against Kiaya with ultimate and electrocute available. Yeah, Ryuk is not looking great. Oh, that is a
Oh.
really nice ambush.
Good rune prison, and Glory uses the Spirit Rush to get out of the Sonic Wave. It means that Glory will survive, but Flash traded between the two mid laners.
That was quick fingers from Glory. He would have been dead if he reacted
He knew they were there.
Yeah, he was very much hovering the flash key already. He was ready to flash away in an instant, so nice reaction time, but still priority over to GAM. It's good vision setup. They can see GAM approaching, and here we go. Ooh, it's a dangerous dive. No minion wave left.
It's a 3v4, but Burst Sky will pull the trigger, and they will try to go in, but they're not going to be able to get the kill onto B, and it's just one kill going the way of a GAM. The mini wave will be crashing back in once again, and it will be a 4v2. Realm Warp, Curtain Call, everything being unloaded. No one follows through in the Realm Warp, but Kati, Levi are now under the tower. Who's the focus on? It's on Aomina. The Jinx will fall. Now they look to Elio. Glory finally showing up. Elio will surely die. Levi just needs to get one more auto in, but they want to give the kill over to Style, and the Jin will be able to get the kill. 6 kills to 0, and GAM with a 4K goal in.
It's excruciatingly clean. What is this team? Is this really a VCS team? All their plays are perfect. The coordination is crisp. It is beautiful to watch, and this is our 5-0 team. This is the best team in the split so far. And even Cerberus are going to be scared of them, even though they're on an 8-game winning streak themselves. GAM is still here to show that they are the kings of the VCS. What a performance so far in this early game. I love this look. Levi more active than he has been in the last few series, where he's going. He was going for more of the farming approach, a lot of Hecarim, a lot of Diana, these kind of champions. Now he's back to his ganking mainstay. His Lee Sin is known all across the world, and we know why. But it's not only Levi, it's also the bot lane performing to an insanely high standard, maybe even the best performing bot lane right now in the split. They are fighting against Cerberus' bot lane for that title, and look at the execution here, everything's just perfectly played. They get the first kill. I'm not sure why Sky even tried to fight away from their tower. Now it's only a 2v4. B is low, but he knows when he can go in. He uses the Battle Dance and W to get even more CC in there. Beautifully done, flashes out. Yeah, I mean, Glory on the Ari, he was supposed to be the engine of this team, but in the end, he's just a step late every single time he shows on any kind of play.
And I really want to praise what Star did at the very end of that play, because he was waiting for so long for that fourth shot to make sure it landed onto Aomina. Elio was trying to tank it, but with the amount of time that the Jin held on for, it was practically impossible for Elio. And I remember at the start of the show, before we came live, one of, I think it might have been Carrick, so talked about how, as a joke, how we might be seeing Saigon Buffalo at Worlds and Froggy dominating in the Worlds finals, because he'd saved up all of the CS that he had been giving away over Winter Split, in Spring Split, for that one game at Worlds. And maybe that's what GAM did in Winter Split. This was a solo kill from Glory.
Yeah, at least that's a glimmer of hope. Maybe not for this game, but maybe for the future of the series, because this game they're already 5k gold down. And they did pick up the second Drake, which is the first Drake actually, so halting the Dragon Snowball a little bit, or delaying it at least. But yeah, look at all the map domination. This is one position. Oh, Glory, now under pressure. He might just die. This mid
Glory,
lane
you kill Catty, you get a solo kill like that, expect a vengeance to be enacted by GAM.
Surely enough. It's still a solo kill to Glory, and I actually want to hammer home this point because our analysts talked about this as well. You mentioned it early in the cast. The one position where Sky might have the advantage is the mid lane. So maybe it's too late in this game, but I want to see even more playmaking, even more focus on this mid lane to try and enable Glory and maybe try to exploit some of Kati's tendencies so far in the split. It has been one of his worst in terms of early stats and just how he dies a lot. He just goes for solo kills and goes for solo plays all the time. His team already won the game, so maybe it's just a little bit of playing loosely, because you can. But yeah, Kati needs to improve again, to especially hold up to someone like Yado later on in the split.
I want to talk a little bit about Burst Sky and what's going wrong for them, because they're 2 wins and 3 losses, and for the team that finished 3rd in Winter Split, they finished 4th in regular season. I'm going to hold that thought until after this Rift Herald, because it does look like we're going to be getting a fight breaking out. GAM showing up, and it forces Burst Sky away from Kelly. But who will pick this one up? Because Glory is on their way up. So is Style. The Rift Herald will reset.
Look at this flank.
And the fight
Kiaya's level 11, you can't fight here, he's so scary.
Levi.
Oh, Levi. Where is
But
he
Levi's
going?
actually being caught out. Zenith's Blade tags onto the Lee Sin. Solar Flare on top. Good kick. But Levi's got absolutely nowhere to go. Who does a kill get donated onto? He's buying so much time. Drakthar will get the kill. Glory fighting 3 in one go. Lands a charm onto Style, but doesn't have the follow-up. Burst Sky get the kill. And can Burst Sky pick up the Herald?
They might be a little bit too low. There's still the threat of Kiaya, and his flash is coming up very shortly, so you might actually not want to fight into this, especially with Ryuk on half HP and only level 10, but it's still a nice pick. They are showing some good tendencies, and this is some of the things we wanted to see from Sky. We didn't expect them to win against GAM, even in the semifinals in winter, when they were on their best behavior, when they 2-0'd Cerberus, they came into the semifinals and got swept away by GAM, 3-0 for them. But still, this team needs to show us that they can actually compete with the top teams, and some of the early things they've shown in this game, some of the reads of GAM's movements have been much better than what they've shown so far in the split, so I'm happy generally. But Kiaya is still here, and look at his damage. Nice lead. Thanks,
been really
guys.
generous. They said, okay, Levi, we know we killed you. We're going to wait for you to respawn before we start on the Herald again. We want GAM to be able to have a chance.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest movement. They could have set up the dragon instead. Now they're going to give up top and bot side objective. Their recalls were super delayed as well, so they're not here to contest anything. They just gave up everything on the map. That's very bad map positioning. So unfortunately, after I praised them for their reads, they just completely misplay the whole map and give over every single objective that is available to GAM. Objective bounties are already here. 5k gold lead for GAM 17 minutes in, so potentially, if there could be a big fight for Sky, the gold swing is rather big. But yeah, I'm not sure how they can ever win a fight. They might be able to kill Kati though.
Oh, Ryuk almost fell. Kati will die inside his own realm warp. Ryuk died to the minions. Oh, Ryuk.
And now on the strong
that's
side...
embarrassing. Meanwhile, Glory in a 1v2, Kiaya and B pick up the kill, and Glory's thinking, wait, Kiaya's not the ADC, he shouldn't have a support with him.
This is something GAM has been doing, especially this year, a little bit as well, playing aggressively on the weak side. This time you could also just say Kati was caught out, but generally they like to put Kati into the bot lane and put more pressure on the top side, and then have Kati try to go for a 1-for-1, and it works more often than not. Now Levi has Drakthar under the tower. Why is Drakthar here? No one knows.
Trying to work out, does he want to go to Levi, does he want to go to Kati? It doesn't matter, Kati will pick up the kill nonetheless. And now we have a brief moment to think and gather our thoughts. I want to talk a bit more about Versus Sky, because they were so good in winter. They finished third at the end of playoffs, having beaten Luxury in those semi-finals. What was going well for them in winter, and what is starting to go bad for them here in spring?
Yeah, this is a rather unremarkable replay, just more mobility. So I think Versus Sky are slowly getting back into form. So it was... Oh, we have a little bit of a clash in the mid lane as the mid tower goes down and Elio might be caught out.
I apologize. I tried to bring up narratives in a VCS game. Ryuk, he's going in. He gets a 2-man Nara, but can the Jinx get a kill?
Oh!
There is no excitement for Aomida in this game. He's trying to get on. Yeah, he will finally get the kill, and Drakthar gets the reset. Maybe Versus Sky can turn things around going in. Deadly Flourish locks him down, and Style will be able to get the kill. Now the curtain call. Surely the slows onto Glory as B and Kati run down the Versus Sky mid laner, but B will not go for anything further. 2 kills for 3, and GAM come out on top.
A little bit too scattered, and I think we saw some of the Kiaya issues with champions like Cannon. This game, he has looked amazing, especially in laning phase. He got a solo kill, has a huge CS advantage, but his team fighting is not quite the best Cannon there are in the VCS. I think you definitely look at someone like Hasmed and say, well, Hasmed would have played this fight a little bit differently. Kiaya kind of undecided on his target focus. He went back and forth with his ultimate, didn't hit anyone in between there for a few seconds, so definitely not the greatest cannon performance as we can see here. He does have flash available. You could have flash ulted here. He does flash, but it's a little bit too late. It's like half a second too late to actually hit Aomida. And he gets the reset, gets the acceleration from his passive, so then Kiaya just goes down. Overextension from Drakthar. You can see why he did it, right? He really wanted to offset this whole fight and turn it around and give Sky a chance in the game. He should have just walked away. In the end, it's a 3-for-2, which is not amazing, but also a little bit of hope. At least they can kill some of the members of GAM. But it's an 8k gold deficit, so at 20 minutes, that's still a huge issue to fight against.
To be fair, considering the goal discrepancy between the two teams, it feels a lot closer than what that goal difference is suggesting. At least to me.
It's a Jinx. Well, we saw what Jinx can do from a goal deficit yesterday, so maybe Sky watched a little bit of LEC and tries to emulate that. Aomina certainly a good ADC. Jinx isn't really his strongest champion, but with the Baron going rather low and GAM, a little bit of a precarious spot. Look at Kiaya though.
They land us up onto Cartier. Elio, when does he pull the trigger? When does he drop down the solar flare? Well, not yet, because the grand entrance comes through on Elio.
No!
Now there's the realm orb. What are you gonna do? The Gnarl does practically nothing. Super Mega Deathwalk can take style super low, but Aomina nowhere to go. GAM pick up another kill. 3 kills, and they don't lose a single member on the team.
And here you can see why Sky is struggling so much in this spring split. Their coordination in teamfights is so much worse than in winter. In December, they would have all contested at the same time and probably punished GAM for their overstay. This time, Glory was in no man's land. He just tried to get there, was AFK looking on as his jungler already went into the Baron pit and insta-died. So huge communication issues on the side of Sky. Everyone dies, Baron goes over to GAM. The game is pushed wide open, and unfortunately we are looking to probably move to a second game rather quickly.
Usually in the VCS we talk a lot about the junglers because junglers are so good. Let's just have a quick look at this replay.
Yeah, Drugthar is definitely not very good in this game. But also take your eyes, take a look at Glory. One E and one W, and then he walks away. Amazing. Amazing teamfight impact. I mean, his position, he was horrible. He was so far away from the fight, and just the coordination of the whole team, you can't really fault just Glory for that, because Drugthar also just ran into the full tank Rise. What was your goal there? What did you try to accomplish? Carty just stood there, QE'd him, EQ'd him, W on top of that, and Drugthar died, so really confusing play.
I feel kind of bad for Glory because who does he go on here? The tank Rise, Levi's Lee Sin, the Kennen, the Jhin that you're never going to get on top of?
It's true. It's a hard game for him to play. He was supposed to accelerate the early game and get into a position where he could assassinate anyone. Now he can't assassinate anyone instead. And yeah, this is going to happen to him instead. So everyone just piles on top of the Ahri and he dies instantly. Levi, nice snipe.
Into the back line goes Draxthar. He gets the kill onto Levi. Maybe it's a chance for Mercy Sky to turn it around. Draxthar gets 2 kills. Now lucky to Levi. Can't lock him down with a deadly flourish, but B will afford Zenith's Blade. Locks him down. Aomina gets the kill, gets the shutdown. And Mercy Sky are back in the game. 3 kills for 1. Well, maybe back in the game is a bit too early to say, but a good sign anyway for BTS.
And do you know what people talked about yesterday in the comeback in the Misfits games? It was, the Jinx can be just like a Viego in his prime. But do you know what's better than a Jinx that is like a Viego? It's a Viego. And the Viego completely popped off in this fight. Amazing timing there from Drugthar. This time completely redeeming his earlier votes at the Baron fight. And he gets 2 huge shutdowns with greatly timed ultimates. And another shutdown going over to Aomina. So GAM, they need to be careful. They are playing with their food rather often in the VCS right now. Their game time is actually longer than you'd expect, because they tend to just fool around a little bit. But they can't overstay too much, because Drugthar is getting scarier. Aomina is stacking up his items, so if you do this for too long, they might just lose the game here.
You can be fed, but what happens if our Viego kills you and takes away your fed champion? It's the old-fashioned Renata ult.
That's very true. And by the way, take a look at Carter. He really does not want to be possessed, because he's just building full tank Rise in a whole new dimension, just building a full tank item. Not sure if I've ever seen this Rise build. It's not going to deal any damage, but it's also not ever going to go down. So damage is much more the honors of Kiaya and style, which is scary, because it's Jhin Cannon. It's not the most assured damage. So I'm not entirely sure if I agree with Carty on his build choice. But let's see, he's gonna be able to frontline forever.
And this game, at least for Best Sky, feels like essentially Ari, quintessential Ari. Feast or famine. You either look good or you look terrible. It's been the same for Drakthar. He's inted some plays, and my god, he's looked really good in some other plays.
Yeah, this is another int. This happened off-screen while we were still marveling about his performance in the teamfight. He already threw everything away with just running at Kiaya for no apparent reason.
Resetting his bounties, that's what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, that was necessary, definitely. Kiaya is level 15, level 16 cannon packs quite a punch, and we don't have a single exhaust. Usually, exhaust against cannon is the one thing you always have to look out for in teamfights, but this is a Leona with Ignite in bot lane, so no exhaust available. This Jinx, if she does not have flash in any of these teamfights, and even if she has flash and gets caught by some CC, might just be assassinated by Kiaya of all people, so this is an insanely hard game to play for Almina in terms of positioning. You have so many threats to deal with. Carty can just walk up at you all the time. B can chain into you with anyone jumping in first, and then he E's and W's on top of you. So how is Almina going to stay alive? That's the huge question. If he manages to do so, he can counterpunch and can turn the teamfights around on 3 items now. Kind of low damage builds, so he really needs a 4th item to carry the whole game, but if he gets 1 or 2 more shutdowns, maybe on Carty, that's almost 1000 gold, he's gonna get to that IE eventually.
I'd actually like to get your thoughts, because you just mentioned how Almina has 3 items that Lord Dominic's Regard picked up, going to be absolutely huge against Carty, but I want to talk about Gale Force, and I know it's not the biggest thing in the world, and I'm picking at straws, or clutching at straws right now. But what do you think of the Gale Force versus Kraken? Because sure, Gale Force gives a bit of extra survivability, but I feel like Versus Sky need to go with that aggressive playstyle. They need to risk it if they want to get this win.
I feel like you have to go Gale Force into Rakan. It's so hard to play the game if you don't have Gale Force dash against Rakan W, because then he doesn't even have to invest Flash or Ultimate to get you. He can just W you, and you have to step back so far. So I don't mind it too much. I'm much more critical of the ranged item. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Jinx going this item in the 2nd or 3rd spot. I think it really hampers her damage output. So I think that's the bigger issue than the Gale Force itself, because Gale Force compared to Kraken, yes, it is.
Oh my god, Levi!
Nicely done, yeah. It is a damage difference, but yeah, I think the safety actually gives you 1 or 2 more auto attacks, and then the damage is equal again. So it makes sense. This is Soul for GAM, which means more movement speed, more access into the back line, especially for someone like Carty and B. Carty? Wait, what? Hello?
He sees him. He walked past him in the bush. You know when you walk into a bush and you're like, yeah, there's not going to be anyone in there. There's like, wait, no, there was someone in there. I need to go back in and kill that person. Drakthar now doesn't have his ult available. And GAM have started up on the Baron. Now to do BTS want to contest this. They're already 1 ult down.
Yeah, this is really hard to play in Drakthar. Yep, he's isolated from his team again. Here we go. He's dead already.
There won't be any Viego ult resets in this fight. The Realm Warp comes through. Kiai with a slicing maelstrom. Elio has fallen. 2 kills already down as Levi chases onto Glory. Lands another Sonic Wave. 4 kills for nothing. And we talked about a Jinx having to step up. It's going to be very difficult in a 1v5 situation because GAM are just going to get this wave ready. And they're going to be crashing it on into the base. Actually, no, they're just going to go for the Baron.
And it's another puzzling positioning for Drakthar around the Baron pit. Just group up with your team, please. Especially without the ultimate. Why did you just walk into the Rice again? Someone needs to teach him how Rice works, because he has done this now 3 or 4 times in this game. Just randomly walking up to Everfrost Rice, and Everfrost Rice just stares him down, uses 1 active item, and then he dies. Really not sure what's going on with Drakthar on this Viego. Usually one of his better picks, and we saw him pop off once in this game, but that's not enough to win this one. Second Baron over to GAM. They should finally be able to break some inhibitors here. As we can see, their gold lead is now, I'd say, insurmountable. Stahl got a lot of kills. He is now in a position to actually provide the DPS for the most part to carry, especially against all the squishy members in the enemy team. Not a huge amount of tanks, especially with Ryuk being this far behind, so the Jhin doesn't have his usual worries to play against the late game tank line that he really can't get through. So in this case, he just hits everyone for 1000 crits. So this is a very good game for Jin to play. And Ryuk is trying to get tankier and tankier, but I think he's too far behind the item curve. So it should be an easy game for GAM to sort out, I guess. But it's 30 minutes into the game. It's a Jinx on 3.5 items. Maybe there's one more hope for Sky in a Hail Mary team fight.
One more team fight. Maybe that will be enough to secure GAM the win. Maybe it could bring BTS back into this game. 13,000 goal behind. It's very far behind. They're going to need to get their jumping shoes on if they want to try to close in to a GAM. Back to a previous point that I was trying to make. Usually we praise the junglers in the VCS, and Levi's been fantastic this game. But last season, I think, was also supports, especially when you look to 3 supports in particular of B, Taki, Run OP. And I think B's been playing fantastically, not just in this game, but in the split as a whole.
Yeah, B has stepped up to a level unknown to any support in the VCS, really. He has consistently been excellent in every single champ he plays. If he plays melee, if he plays engage, if he plays defensively, which, to be fair, isn't the case in many games. But yeah, once again, 3, 1, and 10. Amazing performance on the Rakan, knowing perfectly when to go in, when to go out, dancing around the edges. And now look at this beautiful execution for GAM. But Style, oh, good cleanse. He gets away here as well. Ryuk is already half HP, and Ryuk is, wow, he's evaporated.
That was a Mega Gnar as well. 1 down, 4 more to go as GAM take the final inhibitor in the mid lane. And there will be 3 Baron-empowered minion waves crashing onto the 2 Nexus towers. Glory looking to make a play, already down to half health. Drakthar trying to get onto Kiaya. Slicing Melts from Kiaya will get the kill. GAM will get 4. Almina, the only member left standing in the base. Did GAM risk it for the biscuit? No, GAM will just take the Nexus. And GAM will take game 1 over Burst.